What's up, YouTube? Boy Dragon Mesh 97 here. Coming back with a questionnaire video. I got like 12 questions, so whatever. But yeah, for each question, I'm going to be giving a shout out, and I'll probably find a way to put a link to a lot of the YouTube accounts that some of these people have in the description below. Which is probably about 3 people asking questions, so it's going to be 2 YouTube accounts. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and get started? Just gonna get to the top first, okay? Anyways, first question is, among all the elemental hero fusions, which is the most splashable to any deck? And this is asked by Hudson Man 2. As far as that question goes, I don't really know much about a lot of these fusions, so best I know is probably Zero, Wild Wingman, Wild Edge, uh, Neos Knight. But other ones I do know, yeah, no, don't remember the exact name, but the god Neos, basically. Uh, but from all I really saw, in my opinion, the two most splashable cards have got to be the god Neos and Neos Knight. And I say that because God Neos, it takes like multiple fusion cards to do this with, which all you really gotta do is make sure you throw in some elemental heroes, evil heroes, Neospatians, or and Neos, of course, into the deck. You know, and Neos Knight, I say, because there's a whole lot of warrior variation decks out there that don't really use heroes or anything like that to build from. So all you really gotta do is make sure you throw Neos into like any warrior deck you build, and you've got an easy path to making a Neos Knight fusion. All of the other elemental hero fusions, they're good in a lot of decks, but not every deck. Because like Zero, from what ones I described, you gotta make sure you build a deck with enough water monsters in it for popping out something like him. You gotta make sure you have at least elemental hero like Bubble Man or anything like that. Don't matter what you know kind of attribute the hero is, but and something like any kind of water hero like the Atlantean deck to pop Zero out on the field and such. Anyways, next few questions are coming from Mr. Cola 96, and first question is, how did you start Yu-Gi-Oh? I started the game basically. At first, it was just because it looked fun to me, looked like I'd have a good time, and I actually ended up doing that. And I started back in middle school when I was around the time when everyone was transitioning from the huge effect of the Pokemon fandom to the Yu-Gi-Oh fandom. Pokemon was starting to dwindle down, and this new card game was just blowing up slowly. And I started watching the series on, at the time, what was WB Kids, and I started realizing, hey, this card game, it's got a lot of stuff in it that I can actually do, and that's basically how I got into it. Anymore nowadays, it's just something like I can use to put out some steam. Next question is, what was your first deck? That question's a little hard to answer because I had decks in the past and all. First I got the Kaiba starter deck and a few packs and just used that for a while. But my first true deck I have. I'm still kind of working on right now, and that is Earthbound Immortals. It's actually I titled my Earthbound Ascent, my Immortal Ascension deck, and it's still in the working, but that's really my first true deck. But my first deck was a Kaiba starter deck and a couple of booster packs I think I got for Christmas for my birthday one. Next card is my first card was my first card, and once again that revisits back to the Kaiba starter deck, which really I didn't really have a first card in it, but I say the first card I got into was Blue Eyes White Dragon. At the time it was one of the more powerful cards of the game. You had Exodia, Blue Eyes, and all these others, but mainly the Blue Eyes and Exodia were the biggest ones. So yeah. Next up is, what was your first competitive deck? Now I've never really been one to build competitively, so I can't really answer that question. Next up is, if you could create an archetype, what would it be? Now this question I can answer because I've actually gone through the process of creating two archetypes, fantasy ones I came up with. But I gotta say, out of both of them, my favorite so far has been Dark Angels, which is basically another version of, well, not quite them, but another version of Dark Lords, which is more based on field control, uh, allowing you to put out a lot of monsters and such. Uh, but yeah, I'm still trying to work on an example of each card for that archetype because I'm actually using stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Maker and all that to come up with the card. Next question. What was your longest winning streak? Uh, really? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've never really competed in an event, so I don't really have a true winning streak. And considering I don't compete competitive, like I said before, I really don't care about winning all the time. So really, it's like every so often it's back and forth, back and forth. I'll win, I'll lose, I'll win, I'll lose. But yeah, and I don't really do matchup stuff because I'm mostly on Dueling Network, and a lot of the times I compete against some of these FTK and OTK decks just for a little fun, and I'll lose and just just keep moving on. Anyways, next question, question 8. What is your fave card? That's kind of hard to say because I've got a lot of actual favorite cards in this game. But I can list them right now, which was in the beginning, like I said, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Earthbound Immortals, of course, all that. Not really card, but archetype Dark Worlds because they're control effects. Uh, and the Mech Lords because you destroy, you get one of your monsters destroyed by an infection or something like that, you can bring out a Mech Lord. Okay, next up is a few questions from a Facebook person. Don't have a YouTube to per se use. From WM Joe Harrison. He asks, if you could destroy any archetype, what would it be and why? Really? Dino Rabbits. I mean, I know it's not a true archetype, but really, I mean, who really likes Dino Rabbits anymore? Rescue Rabbit has been one of the most hated cards so far, ever since it was created to replace Rescue Cat. And honestly, even I don't like it. I've hardly ever faced it. But yeah, if I could destroy any archetype, it would have to be Dino Rabbits. Because who needs that, really? Alright, next up is if you could permanently ban any card, what would it be and why? Well, this kind of collaboration with the previous question, which is Rescue Rabbit, definitely. Because, Rescue Rabbit will actually make that Rescue Rabbit, Zone, and Wise Man's Chalice. Rescue Rabbit because of how you can pop out of two rabbits and can easy on exceeds or something like that, and basically just overrun your opponent. And then Wise Man's Chalice and Zone because basically you can't. I can't even really understand their effects. I mean, it's two of the most confusing cards in the game right now, in my opinion. So yeah. Two more questions and then that's all. Question number 11. If you could unban any card, what would it be and why? Could. If I could unban any kind of card, it would probably be Change of Heart. Because Change of Heart with my field, would probably work well with my kind of field control style, where I can play Change of Heart, get my opponent's monster, sacrifice it or attack them with it, and then, you know, I get an easy upper hand there. Next up is, and finally, is if you could meet any character from any of the Yu-Gi-Oh animes, what would it be and why? Out of all four seasons, I gotta say my favorite's always gotta be Yu-Gi-Oh GX, and out of that series, my best favorite character on it would be Zane Truesdale. He ran a deck basically that completely ran down, screwed you over basically, and put you to your limits. So yeah, if I can meet him, I'd come out, I'd say, I challenge you to a duel, and I'd compete against him with my field control Earthbound Immortals. And, I wouldn't know if I win or not, so yeah. Anyways, that's about it for the questions. Once again, shoutouts go to Hudson Man 2, Mr. Cola 96, and WM Joe Harrison. Thank you guys for giving me a list of the questions to ask here. I'll be putting links to Joe's profile on Facebook and Mr. Cola 96 and Hudson Man's YouTube channel, so go check them out, rate, subscribe, whatever, and don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment on this video, and I'll probably do another Q&A sometime along the road, like a couple of weeks or so. Anyways, give you a little update. I should have a schedule set up for what kind of videos are going to show up on what kind of days pretty soon, because I'm coming up with new segments as I speak. This week I should have the new half-baked deck profile segment done sometime before the end of the week. I'll have the video up at the same time. Anyways, this is Dragon. Anyways, that's about it. I gotta explain. Don't forget to rate our RCS down below. And this is Dragon Master Knight 7, Renegade Reaper, saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. Peace.